Ah, hell. I'm in the wrong game again.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and some of you mounts rid the gaming drag today. I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Echo Flynn's Path. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos, one of which is already out, y'all. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. We're on... There we go. Okay. Jenna doesn't answer, continuing her texting. TJ, meanwhile, seems to be grinning at his empty ketchup-covered plate. Jenna? I move over to the purse, unbuttoning the main flap. I've always been a bit wary about going through the girls' purses for obvious reasons. The first thing I noticed, though, is a piece of folded paper with Chase written in all capital letters on the top. Looks like there's something wedged inside of it as well. Curious, I pull back the top of the paper and feel something fuzzy against my paw pads. Then a bristling sensation. Thin, prodding things tickle the tips of my fingers. I squeeze one and yank it up. Dangling before me is an orange and black tarantula, its limbs bouncing from the sudden pull of force. Jesus, fuck! I toss it down to the dirt, it seeming to bounce right back up and land sideways on my foot. I scramble back, kicking at it with as much force as I can muster. Shit! My chest heaves and I feel like my heart is about to burst from my chest. The tarantula doesn't move, and that's when I realize TJ and Jenna are grinning at me. Jenna has her phone pointed in my direction. Jesus, she's filming this! Language! It's just rubber, Chase! That! I point at the limp, eight-legged thing that's now 3 yards away, stuck in a patch of goat-head brambles. That is not funny! It is, actually. Oh, I'm sorry, Chase. It was Jenna's idea. It was 99 cents at that gas station we stopped at back at Two Canyons. No wonder you two wouldn't let me see what you bought. Did you guys actually have anything for me? I mean, regarding my project? TJ begins to look even more guilty. Jenna sets her phone down and goes about reclasping her purse. Not really, Chase. As you said, there wasn't much information about the 1877 happening. Most search results directed us towards dubious ghost hunting websites with no source veracity that could be utilized in a formal report. Well... I sigh, stilling my swaying tail and feeling calm once again. Was there anything that could be used in a non-formal report? The Finnick cocks her head, her eyes seeming to look right through me as she thinks, before meeting my gaze once again. What do you want to know more about? The UFO spotted over Echo Canyon by a group of night hikers? The Meseta ghost woman who wanders along the edges of the res, seducing men before impaling them on the branches of mesquite trees? Or perhaps the Mothman, who now apparently has been seen driving a semi-truck down Route 93 at midnight. Maybe he needed a side job. The economy has been tough lately. I let out an exasperated noise. Okay, I get your point. Although there were lots of mentions of the riots here. That includes the happenings in 1915, as well as some other unsourced stuff about violence after World War II. Just a general perception that we were all a bunch of desert malcontents living in some sort of Sodom and Gomorrah-style situation for a century. That sounds about right. We even had a famous brothel that served all the miners in the area. A brothel? I look at TJ, who is frowning acknowledgingly. Does he really not know? It's a place where they make broth and other types of soup. I know what a brothel is. And Jenna merely smirks and shakes her head. It was called the smoke room. Wait, what? I tense up and they seem to notice. Chase, is something wrong? The smoke room. Yeah? That still exists. I was there last night. You went to a brothel last night. Jenna says this less as a question, more of a deadpan matter of fact. What? No, it was this bar that Flynn went to. It's right by the casino. There's no sign for it or anything, and it's like some sort of gay bar? A gay bar? In this county? At least that's what it seemed like it was. I shrug, trying to phrase this as carefully as I can without going into too many details. Everything smelled like cigarettes, and there was this really shady back room that they called the smoke room. That's... Jenna presses her knuckle to her lower lip, seemingly in thought. She glances up toward me after a moment. Interesting. With that look, I regret bringing it up already. Jenna seems to be maintaining this sort of intrigued expression. I begin bracing for any follow-up questions. What sort of music do they play there? Surprisingly, TJ is the first to speak. 1 second, y'all. Coffee time. Gotta keep that Drake fuel going. Oh, yeah. See, this coffee is actually so damn good, I can drink it without putting any sugar in it. I prefer having a little sweetness to my coffee, but we don't have any sugar right now since we didn't buy any. We might get some when we go to the store in a little bit after we eat. I don't see any sign of judgment on his face either, just genuine curiosity. Oh, it was kind of weird actually. It was a sort of droning, bassy synth stuff. Really? Yeah, never heard anything like it. Was kind of loud too. I'm not sure why you're asking. It's TJ's turn to shrug. Just curious. So, you went to a gay bar with Flynn named after an old famous brothel? I exhale, resting my paws on the edge of the table. It's not like that. Like what? Daxton, Carl, and I followed him after he left us in the middle of hanging out last night. But he sort of, well, I think he was trying to invite me to go along with him in his own sort of way. He left his phone behind him with just one text message on it with the address. I think he wanted to see if I was interested enough to snoop through his phone instead of outright inviting me. It's hard to explain. Oh, no, I understand completely. That sounds quite like Flynn. Very non-committal and giving himself something that he can hold against you if need be, to protect himself from having any semblance of vulnerability. Jenna rubs the bridge of her small nose, still seemingly frustrated with Flynn's behavior. She reaches down, picking up a paper plate from beside her and shoving it in a plastic bag. I'm ready to head back to the motel. Chase, are you coming? Oh, sure. TJ begins cleaning up as well, moving to drag the picnic table back into the appropriate yard. I help. I sit cross-legged on the edge of the bed with a notebook in my lap. I'm sort of half planning out my script and half kicking myself for not doing a lot of this preliminary stuff earlier. I'm also kicking myself for not getting any scans of the photos and documents I found at City Hall. The B-roll I've got doesn't quite cut it. Having actual historical papers with pictures of Echo inhabitants that aren't available online might look good for my portfolio. At least that's what Jenna said. I kind of doubt they're open on Saturday, so I'd have to talk to Flynn. And Flynn still wants me to assist him with his whole interrogation he has planned. Or at least stay out of the way. For now, I just want to focus on my project. Currently, Jenna is tapping away at her laptop on her side of the room. Although, she seems more distracted than she was at the beginning of this trip. TJ has the TV on onto some behind-the-album rock music history show that he's pretty engrossed in, from the looks of it. He lays beside me, his back propped up by pillows. After a few more scribblings for my outro, I toss aside my notebook and slink on over to the other side of the room. I take a few packets of the candy egg oatmeal that we've got about 20 of and empty them into one of the complimentary styrofoam bowls on the table. I know it's for kids, but I've always kind of liked this stuff. I'm a sucker for anything that's bland as hell with the tiniest bit of sweet add-ins, like oat bran cereal with dehydrated marshmallow bits. I fill the bowl with water, about a centimeter higher. What are you doing, little girl? You get out of here. You get out of here. Oh, well, that's fine. You can go over there. I fill the bowl with water, about a centimeter higher than the top of the oatmeal. A little bit of maple cinnamon dust rises up from the mixture. Hopefully this pack isn't too old. I didn't check the expiration date before grabbing it from my dorm room. I bring the mixture to the microwave and set it for 1 minute. On the TV, some raccoon is talking about how their music videos went viral back in 2006 and how the fame went to his bandmate's head. It's weird to think that 2006 was nearly 10 years ago at this point. I remember watching shows like this with my mom as a kid. They were always about hair metal bands from the 80s and 90s. Each episode was full of grainy, old-pack film photographs of the alleged happier days of the Focus superstar. It has me thinking about how much stuff like that there is from my childhood. There's nearly a gig of videos on my old laptop, ranging from home videos, machinima, to class projects I did with the group. Plus, all my social media posts are still there. It's not like those days were faded memories on a sepia-tinted photo roll picture. They're right there in full 1024 by 768 aspect ratio, a few clicks away. It's like, it is coffee time. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Maybe that's why I don't think about Echo with as much nostalgia as someone like TJ or, well, Leo for sure. And speaking of, I checked my phone a little while ago. He hasn't texted. The microwave beeps and I take the oatmeal out. The directions say to leave it in for 2 to 2.5 minutes, but that always seems like overkill. I like it a bit soupy. I'm gonna take a shower. Do you guys want anything? I blink. What? TJ stares blankly at us. Do we want anything from the shower? Jenna, after a couple of seconds, looks up from her laptop at the links. TJ? He looks as if he's come to some realization, then quickly covers his face with his paw. Forget I said the second part. I shift awkwardly, bowl of oatmeal in paw. I didn't get much sleep last night. Jenna sighs. It's okay, neither did I. I didn't wake you guys up when I got in, did I? Hope to hell they didn't see me slink in with a cum-covered shirt, that's for sure. Jenna gives me a sidelong look that I can't quite describe, and that makes me feel even more worried. No. Whew. We were already pretty much awake. Shit. That man shouting in the parking lot was making me uneasy. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear any of that. Jenna lowers the top of her laptop some, though not closing it all the way. It started a little before midnight. You hadn't arrived yet. It sounded like he was walking all around the motel. He even screamed at our window. Was he yelling anything specific? No, he was just shouting. I heard a few words here and there, but never like any fully sentences or anything. He just sounded really, really mad or sad. TJ pauses, looking at the bowl I'm holding. Or scared, I don't know. Part of me kind of wanted to tell Leo. I can't help but smile a little at that. Really? Wow. I didn't actually. Leo the Protector. I can't believe after all this time TJ still sees Leo that way. I called the police. They said they'd send a patrol car, but I never saw one show up. He eventually just left. A little before you showed up, actually. It feels like everyone's on drugs in this town now. Now? Jenna retorts, looking at me with a raised brow. Well, I mean, it wasn't always this strange, was it? Even back growing up, I'd still wager that at least a third of the population was on heroin or worse. It comes with the territory. But I will say, I do somewhat agree with you. Echo depopulated by around 100 people since I was born. That in itself is the other two-thirds of the population. Those that remained didn't have that same level of general township community that we once had. What little of that it was. TJ nods, rubbing at his wrists and looking forward and looking toward the drape-covered window facing the parking lot. I remember when we used to have our own grocery store. Oh, speaking of, we ate at the diner after the hike yesterday. Julian works there now as a busboy. You remember him, right? I think for a moment. Was he the green reptile kid who peed himself in AP Lit? TJ looks a little aghast. What? No! Then I don't know him. That was Cody. Wait, the Cody you dated? Jenna makes a slightly disgusted noise, shaking her head. You're thinking of upstate Cody. I never got to meet him. Yes, well... Jenna lets out a little puff of air, pushing up her laptop screen again and typing something. Neither did I. She stops for a moment, turning to look at me. May I have some of that? My oatmeal? Oh, sure. I hand her the still warm styrofoam bowl with a spoon. Damn it, I wanted that. And of course, she's digging out all the sugar dinosaur eggs first. So, right, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, Julian was telling us that the diner will probably end up closing down at the end of this year. Maybe next if they're lucky. That's like the last business in town besides the motel. The last legitimate business, you mean? I see Jenna nod before taking another bite of my oatmeal. It's no wonder then that people act weird. Even Leo, Carl, and definitely Flynn are different. Did you guys see Janice again after what happened on the road? TJ nods uneasily, the Lynx beginning to busy himself gathering up a fresh set of clothes. I asked her if she was okay or needed any help, and she said she was fine. Great, even. Thank you. It is water time. Alright, there we go. But she looked really bad. TJ picks up some red pajama pants that have faded little Christmas ornament symbols stitched in around the bottoms and pine tree decals on the waist. He also, a bit more discreetly, grabs a pair of bright red underwear and quickly hides them in the folds of the pants. I wonder if he's matching the two intentionally. And I don't mean like ugly, I mean she was kind of grimy and smelled like raw meat. She was definitely on something, TJ. I hope not. TJ turns, shuffling himself into the bathroom. The door shuts. You know... Jenna sits up some. I think it was Clint. Jenna is speaking to me, but her eyes are on her laptop. Huh? The man outside that was screaming. At first I thought he had Jeremy with him, and God, just the thought of that makes me want to get out of this town and not look back. I don't blame you, but Clint? Judging from popular television growing up, it seems like everyone alive has had a childhood bully. Some with multiple. We had Clint and his little gang of assholes. Jeremy, Misha, hell, even Heather sometimes. The thing is, in a town of 50 people, escaping your bullies is near impossible. They're everywhere, they hate you, they hurt you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, until Leo did something about it. I still remember the squelching noises Clint made as Leo hit him over and over again outside his own trailer. Leo didn't speak any English, and they were all a couple of years older than us, but that didn't stop him. I don't know how things would have turned out if he never moved here. The voice, it had a certain cadence to it that reminded me of him. Nope. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!